morning to anybody who's joining. I'm just going to give it a minute or so and just allow people to join, okay? So today all we're going to need is a golf club. So if you have a golf club, grab one. Obviously you should have a golf club if you're a golfer, but just get one to hand because we're going to use it a little bit today, okay? So just following the similar routine that I have done over the last couple of weeks, we're going to start with a dynamic warm-up, get you nice and warm, work on a little bit of mobility this morning. Then we've got a couple of core exercises just to really strengthen the muscles of the trunk and the core. And then we're going to do a little bit of lower body strength, a little bit of shoulder strength as well, and a little bit of power work as well. But like I say, all you need today is just a golf club. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start by getting warmed up. Just before you start, what I would say is don't push anything, only move within your kind of limits. So if anything doesn't feel great, okay, don't force it. If you do have any questions on any of the exercises that I do this morning, then please comment or leave me a message or ask me a question on private message afterwards. Alright guys, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some overhead lunges. If you struggle in this position, pop the club there, okay? But if you're okay there, we're just going to put the club above our head, okay? What we're going to do is make sure we've got enough room to lunge forward. Then we're going to lunge out to the side, trying to really load into that leg. You see I've got a nice straight right leg. And then just make sure you've got room backwards. And lunge backwards, good, okay? Then we're going to swap legs. So lunge forward, back up, lunge to the side, load in, try and keep that club above your head for me. And back up, good, nice and controlled. Trying to get as deep as you can into that lunge, really load into your hips and make sure that the weight stays into your heels. Try not to tap your knee on the floor like I just did. Try and control it, and back out. Good, and back. Good, keep it going. Should be starting to just warm up, loosen up a little bit this morning. Keep it going. Nice and steady, keep them toes pointing forward as you go into that side lunge. Okay, one more each side. Lower down, push up, okay, try and keep pelvis nice and level. And back, good stuff. Okay, so next we just put the club down. We're going to do what we call a single leg, kind of like hip hinge deadlift, okay? You might feel a little bit unbalanced on this one, okay? So we're going to go onto one leg. I'll just show you from the side. Onto one leg. I want you to make sure that you're hinging from the hips. So try not to kind of bend forward with the upper body. Try and use the hips to hinge, and then we're just going to reach. And back up, okay? You can tap that foot back on the floor, especially if you feel a little bit unbalanced. Try and focus on a spot, and that just will help with that balance. Little hold in that position. You see how I'm just using my hips to get into that position. And back up. And again. Reach. Control. And back. Good. So we're really using the stability through that hip. Using the hip to get into that position. And reach. Try not to bend too much on that leg if you can avoid it. But obviously you want a little bit of bend in there. Don't fully straighten the knee. Good, okay, one more. And reach, really lengthening. Feel that them glutes working. And back up, good stuff. Okay, let's swap legs. So, just kind of stabilise onto that leg. Reach in. And back up. Don't worry if you're a little bit wobbly to begin with, it just takes practice. And control, everything working together. Reach. Yeah, I went then. Okay, let's do 3 more. And reach. Good, focus on that spot. And reach. Good, once more. Feel that nice stretch down the back of the legs, hamstring. Nice and stable. And back up, good stuff. So should be warming up nicely now. We're just going to the floor for this next exercise. So this is more of a hip mobility exercise. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're just going to sit and you're going to pop your leg really nice and wide for me, okay? Try and keep your feet flat, but don't worry if you're kind of coming up a little bit. Obviously it depends how tall you can sit through your hips, okay? So you're just going to support yourself on the floor, legs are nice and wide, and we're just going to drop the knees down to the floor, so in this like 90 degree position, okay? And then just rotate into that leg, show you this way. Stay nice and tall, just feel that nice stretch. A little pressure into the floor, so kind of push your knees into the floor. Good. And then we're just going to come back and then drop the other side. Nice and steady, don't force it. If you can't get your legs down, that's absolutely fine. You just move within your limits. A little push into the floor. Just feel it engaging the muscles of the hip. Just open everything up a little bit. Especially if you push with this back leg, you might get a little stretch inside the thigh in the adductor area. And then rock. And again. Push in. Feel this engaging. Stay nice and tall for me. Should feel like quite a nice stretch this. And push in. It's really important we've got good movement through the hips. Get them moving. Just keep throwing a little pressure. Good, and once more to this side, and then we're just going to mix it up a little bit. Pushing in. And back up we come. Good stuff. Okay, so we're going to keep the legs wide again. Okay, this time what we're going to do is drop the knee inside, okay? But what I don't want you to do is open up with that, okay? So I want you to try and keep this leg in the same position, okay? So we are rotating through that leg. You can support yourself again with the floor. Drop the knee in. Don't worry if you don't get down to the floor. Again, you just go as far as you feel comfortable. Maybe slight, a little push at the very end, but don't force it, okay? Drop down. Okay, just trying to mobilise them hips this morning. Get them nice and loose. Nice and steady. If you're kind of a little bit restricted, just try and get that a little bit further with each one. Keep it going. Nice and steady, nice and flowing. Just trying to ease that movement, especially if you've not been out of bed too long. Good, stay tall. It should start to get a little bit easier as you work through that. Just trying to loosen up a little bit here now. You should feel it just kind of flows a little bit better. Unless you're like uber stiff. There we go. Okay, good stuff. So, last one of the warm-up, we're going to do some bear crawls, but with shoulder taps. So I think we've done a couple of bear variations over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to get into bear position. So it's on our hands and our knees, okay? And the main aim of this is make sure that your legs are hip width apart, okay? Otherwise, if you get a little bit too narrow, you'll find that you kind of lose stability. We want to make sure you keep your back nice and neutral, okay? So no excessive kind of arching or rounding. So it ensures that the abdominals are engaged. And we want to try and resist any kind of pelvic rotation as well. So we're going to do a crawl, okay? And then after each crawl, we're then going to try and tap our shoulder without kind of rocking to sides. It's quite challenging. Just take your time with it and try and keep the movement as slow as you can. Okay, if it feels too tough, just go a little bit wider with your legs, okay? So we're into bear position. Knees are down towards the floor, back's nice and flat. We're going to walk forward with opposite arm and leg, and then into this position. So from there, tap your shoulder. Try not to kind of rock. And the other side. Good, and again. Forward. Keep them knees nice and low. Tap. And tap. Good. Okay, let's go backwards. One arm, one leg back. Neutral, tap. Keep them knees low. Tap. And then again backwards. Tap. And tap. Good. Okay, come back down. Another good thing you can do with that is if you just put like a little object on your back, it'll just give you a little bit of feedback as to whether or not you're rocking too much if you can't feel that. Last thing I want to do is see like your hips high and all this going on. Okay, so just slow it down. Okay, let's do that once more. Back into bear position. Opposite arm and leg forward. And again. And tap. Control it. And tap. And again. Tap. And tap. Good. Backwards. Nice control. Tap. Tap once more. Backwards. Tap. And tap. Well done. So if you weren't warm before, you should be after that one. Okay, so we're just going to go into a little bit more core focused exercises now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back onto all fours. We're going to do a bird dog. So again, what I want you to do is be really aware of what's going on here. So sometimes the club falls off, but you can kind of like put your club on your back, on obviously it's a little bit weighted towards the face, so it can fall off, but you can see there I've got a nice kind of flat back. Again, legs are hip width apart, shoulders nice and stacked. And then what we're going to do is you're just going to extend opposite arm and leg. And try not to excessively arch here. Yeah, just try and maintain that position. You can hold it for a couple of seconds. And then back in. Try and keep the leg and the hand off the floor, tap. And then extend out again. Hold that position. You should feel the abdominals working there. You should feel the lift of the leg coming from the glute to the bottom. And back in. And again, exhale. Hold. Stabilise that position. If you feel that you're kind of rocking onto that leg, try and keep that pelvis level. And again, exhale. Hold. Back in. All about that control. 2 more. Exhale. Hold. Back in. Once more. Exhale. Hold. Strong with that glute. Nice neutral position. And back in. Good stuff. Okay, don't worry if you're not using the golf club, it's falling off. So what we're going to do is we're just going to swap. Okay? So back into position. Nice and strong through the shoulders. Extend left leg, right arm, or opposite. Hold. Try not to sway onto that side. Back in we come. And again. If you've got something on your back, it just really helps as a little cue. Just gives you that little bit of feedback. You don't have to use a club, you can use like a little plate or something, or anything just to give you that feeling. Hold. Good, you should really feel this working. This should be really quite switched on. Extend, back in. Nice and slow. Hold. Back in, 2 more. Extend. Might find that one side's a little bit more challenging than the other. Back in, once more. Exhale. Hold. And back down. Good stuff. Okay, so that's a bird dog. We're going to do a similar exercise, but now lying on our back. So we did some dead bugs, I think, on Wednesday. So now we're going to do a dead bug with the golf club. Okay, so what this does, it just creates a little bit more tension. So what you're going to do, we're just going to work one side at a time. So if you grab the golf club in your right hand, and you're just going to put the butt of the club into your right, kind of top of the toes, okay? And then we're going to lie on our backs and make sure that your back's nice and flat, we're nice and neutral with your pelvis. So just push that onto there, and if you kind of push into the leg, you'll feel a little bit of tension through here, okay? So it just kind of engages the muscles a little bit. So we're going to reach up with the other hand, pull the belly button in, and as you exhale, just going to extend, but keep pushing that butt of the club into the leg. You feel that little hold and back up. And again, push in, exhale, extend, and back up, good. Use that breath, push in, exhale, extend, and back up, keep it going. Push in, exhale, hold, back up, and again, exhale, hold, good, 2 to go, we do 8 on each side, keep it going, keep that back nice and flat, don't worry if you can't fully extend, exhale, hold, good, once more, really feeling the hip and the core working, exhale, breathe, and back up, well done. Okay, let's swap sides. You should really be feeling it here, you might feel it a little bit in towards the hip and the quad as well. Okay, so swap legs, legs bend, okay, pushing in that foot. Big deep breath in, keep your back flat as you extend. And back up we come, good. Exhale. And back up. Keep that back nice and flat for me. Exhale. Keep pushing into that foot, creating more tension. Should hopefully exhale. Control that position. And back up. 2 to go, guys. Nearly there. Exhale. Good. Once more. Exhale. Extend. And back up. Well done, guys. Okay, we'll just stretch out a little bit there. So if you just walk the heels up towards the bottom, pop your hands down onto the floor. We're just going to drive the hips up, squeeze your glutes, just stretch out the front there. Just hold that for a couple of seconds, just enjoy that nice stretch. Especially if you might tighten up a little bit in the front of the hips, which is quite normal. Breathe. And relax. Well done. Okay, so good work there. Some pretty tough core exercises. You should really, like I say, feel these muscles really working hard to stabilise it. It's all about building up that strength. So what I wanted to do this morning is I wanted to do some kind of single leg bodyweight exercises. If you do want to add some weight to these exercises, that's absolutely fine, okay, but there's no need to, okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a lateral lunge, and then what I wanted to do is just take you through kind of a single leg, kind of more of a power explosive exercise. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by just stepping out to the side. So we're going to do a side lateral lunge. So try and keep your toes pointing forward, so try not to open out the foot for me if you want. We've done something similar in the warm-up. So all you're going to do is just step out to the side, sit in as low as you can. So first couple, just take your time. So the weight here is into my heel, yeah? Try not to get onto your toe. Try and really sit into that heel. You see, you've got a really nice straight leg here, so you're getting a nice stretch through the hip. So obviously good at strengthening the legs and the hip, but so good for mobility as well. And then we're going to go the other way. So step out, load in. Nice and low, just spend a couple of seconds down there, just kind of getting used to that position, and then really push your foot through the floor as you come back up. And again, load in, sit into it, load that hip, push out, good, and again, load in, sit into that hip, try and get as deep as you can, push out, and again, sit nice and low, push out, and again, keep it going. Push out. Also, just with your upper body, yeah, it's going to drop forward a little bit because of the position in your pelvis. Try not to arch through your back, don't sit up too tall. Yeah, kind of look at the position in the pelvis, but try not to get too low as well, okay? So sit up a little bit and push out. Good, nice and slow. Load in, deep as you can. Really load into that leg. Push out, okay? 2 more each side. Load in. And push, good. If you don't get too low to begin with as you practice these, yeah, you should be able to start improving your movement. Push, 1 more each side. Keep them toes pointing forward, load in. Push, once more. And load in. And push, well done. Okay, so we're going to do a slight variation of that exercise now, but we're going to put a little bit of a jump in, okay? If you're a little bit nervous with jumping or you've not done any of it for a while, what I would say is don't jump too far, concentrate on what we call the landing, okay? So you're going to start on one leg, okay? I want you to kind of like load into the leg a little bit, so I want you to kind of really use the hips to get out of it, okay? You're going to jump to the side and then you're going to try and stick your landing, okay? See, that was quite far from me. Okay, so let's go. So load in, push through the floor, jump to the side. Again, rubbish one. Try and land your balance. Stick your landing, jump. Or better. Yeah, okay, so don't push it. Drive. Try and stick your landing, that's what I want you to work on. Good. And again, push out. You can go a little bit further, stick your landing, engage this. Drive. Stick your landing. So kind of lateral force production is really important in the golf swing. Okay, so this is one of my favourite exercises. Load in, drive, control, and we're going to go 1 more back. Load, drive, whoop, and land. Okay, so some days are better than others on that one. Okay, but like I said, just concentrate on sticking that landing. We've got enough time, we'll come back to that in a second. So while we give our legs a little bit of a rest, I just want to do more of a back kind of shoulder exercise. So we're going to grab your golf club again, and what we're going to do is we're going to get into a hip hinge position. Okay, so it's really good to kind of do lots of exercise in position because it looks a little bit like golf position, okay? So Drive your hips backwards. We don't want kind of rounding or anything here or any excessive arching. Okay, it's basically just drive your hips backwards, stick your bum backwards, and then hold that position, okay? So we're just going to pop the club down towards the floor, so it's kind of just hanging straight down in front. Maintaining this position, we're just going to bring the club above our head, okay? If you struggle with the overhead position, I don't want you to kind of start bringing the neck forward and trying to compensate. You just lift, it might be there, you just lift as high as you can without doing any of this, okay? I want you to maintain that posture as you raise the club above your head, okay? So, hinge at your hips, nice strong position, core engaged, okay? Just feel that load into the back of the legs. Let the arms just drop, okay? Big deep breath in, keep your eyes focused down towards the floor and lift. Now arching through the back, maintain this position here. Good, it's all about maintaining posture while we find movement through the shoulders and lift, hold, breathe, and down, good, and again, lift, hold, back down, good, keep that posture, hold, lift should feel like it's coming from here, back of the shoulder blade area, keep the arms nice and straight, lift, good, and again, and lift. 4 to go, we're going to do 10, breathe out as you lift, hold, keep it going, exhale, lift, 2 to go, and lift, last one. Should really feel this working as well, okay, just stabilising, holding that posture, lift, well done. One of the most difficult things for a lot of people to do is maintain posture through the golf swing, so exercises like that are really pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a quick drink, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go through them 3 exercises again just before we finish. Okay, so grab one if you want as well. So we're going to go back into them lateral lunges. I'm going to do 8 on each leg. Okay, so again, just try and get as low as you can and really push off that floor, okay? So we're going to alternate, toes pointing forward, drop down, really nice and low into that hip, and then push out, okay? And swap sides. Low down, really sit into that heel, get really load that hip, and push out. And again, nice and low. Push out, keep it going. Really low, and push out. Try and get as deep as you can. Get more comfortable getting into that hip, and then really drive off the floor. If you do want to make these a little bit more challenging at home and you want to load it up, you can just grab a dumbbell or a rucksack and hold it in front, like a goblet position. You can hold 2 weights to the side or in front like this. You can even put 2 weights onto your shoulders, okay? So there are options to obviously make it more challenging if you need to. Okay, but if you're struggling with kind of getting into this position, I'd work on this for now. Drive up. Good. So it's really getting as much movement as possible from your body to begin with. Nice and low, load that hip and drive out. Keep it going, as low as you can. Really push through that floor, generate some force and push. Good, 2 more each side. Load in, push, and again as low as you can. Push once more, each leg. Push, last one. Load in and push. Good. Okay, so hopefully you find a little bit more movement in that second set. So we're going to go back to the lateral bounds. Okay, so springing up through the floor and just try and really stick that landing. Again, just feel that you're engaging this as you land. Okay, so kind of little load into the hip. See, I'm kind of loading into the hip and then push, land. Okay, and again, load in, drive, catch. Okay, and again, load, catch. See if you can go a little bit further, but make sure you concentrate on that landing. Most important thing to begin with. Load and drive. And again. Land, good. 1 more each way. Load. Control it. Last one. Go and really push off. And land, good. So once you've got the landing pretty good on them and feel comfortable, you can kind of try and drive further and further away, so you're obviously creating more force through the ground. Okay, so let's go to the last hip hinge exercise. So again, we're going to stand nice and tall, just fold at the hips. You only move as far as you can, so you might get to here. You go as far as you can, just don't round through the upper back, okay? Want as much kind of extension and neutral posture through the upper back. Let the arms just drop down. Big deep breath in and then just lift them arms as high as you can. Don't change your spine position. Maintain that hip flexion. And breathe as you lift. Feel that in your core, just stabilising. Good, and again. Breathe. Good. And again, lift, hold. Maintain that position. 6 to go. Exhale, lift. Good. Hold it as high as you can for me, yeah? Really holding that position. Hold. Good. And again. Lift. Try and get as much height as you can, but feel like you're reaching as well. 3 to go. Exhale. Hold. 2 more. Exhale. Lift. Good. Really strengthening the shoulders, trying to get as much overhead movement as we can. Exhale. And hold and relax. Good stuff, guys. Okay, so help me feel good after them exercises. I'm just going to finish off with a little stretch. Okay, so we're just going to go down to the floor. What we'll do is we'll just kind of stretch off the lats a little bit and the glutes. So what I'd like to do is take your knees kind of like hip width apart, but then just bring the toes together so they're connected. So you want to just kind of sit into your heels as much as you can. So that'll just help with the hips, okay? And then we're just going to come down to the floor, drop the head, okay? And just sit as deep into that as you can. So you feel a nice stretch through the hips. Try and get your bottom as close to your heels as you can. And just reach with them hands and kind of feel like you're pulling the floor towards you. So you should get a really nice stretch all down into the lap area. Okay, and also into the upper back, really good for back extension as well. So if you do suffer with a little bit of this, okay, this should come as quite a nice stretch. Just keep pulling that floor. The more you pull the floor, the more you increase that stretch. Good, and then we're just going to walk the hands over to the right. So keep your bottom as close towards the floor as you can. Pull that floor and you'll feel a nice stretch all down that left side. And just breathe. So take a big deep breath in. Should really feel like the shoulder and the back just opening up. Okay, allowing some room in there. Just a stretch. And then let's walk across to the left. Pull the floor. Feel that stretch. Keep pulling that floor towards you. And back we come. Good stuff. Okay, last one. I'm just going to do a little bit of a hip stretch just to finish. So lie on your back. I'm going to cross the right leg across the left leg. I'm just going to pull that towards you. So you're just going to get a nice stretch there into the hip. So obviously we've done a little bit of hip stuff today with the lateral lunges and the lateral bounds. Okay, so if they're quite new to you, you're not really used to using their muscles, you might just feel that a little bit today. So just keep pulling this leg towards your body, and you're just going to feel that stretch through there. Just keep that across the body a little bit. Back's nice and flat, just kind of pull the belly button into the floor. And then swap legs. Last one, pull across. Breathe. Get that nice stretch. Push it as far as you feel comfortable. Get a little bit into the hamstring as well. And relax. Well done today, guys. Thanks for joining me again. If you do have any questions on any of them exercises, then please feel free to send me a message. I will be uploading the video onto my YouTube channel, so if you want to review it again, then it will be there, hopefully some point today. And I'll be back again on Wednesday. So enjoy.